It's time to talk about the important issues for the natural state, and there's only one place to turn for that. Opportunity Arkansas's Nic Horton. You can find Nic's work at opportunityarkansas.org.
Yes, welcome back to First News. It is the Wednesday edition here on the 20th of November. It's about 19 minutes in front of 8 o'clock. And now joining us from Opportunity Arkansas is Nic Horton, who is the CEO and founder of the organization. And Nic, welcome back to the show. How you doing this week?
Good morning. Good morning. It's a little chilly out there. I got to be honest. I took the dog out this morning, and I was
supposed to be
surprised.
Yeah,
I guess
it's supposed to be. So, I personally, Nic, I run hot, so I enjoy the cold weather. So that's
I do too. I just, it was like 80 this weekend, and then all of a sudden it's just boom.
Yeah,
but that's Arkansas for you.
It had to get here at some
global
point.
Warming.
So here it comes. So Nic, getting into some of the business today. So we've had some time now to let the election set in, especially when we talk about the state and local elections. And so we know what the parties are going to look like, what majorities are going to look like here in Arkansas. What are you hoping to see get done in the next legislative session, and is what you want to see get done doable with the makeup of the state Congress after this last election?
Yeah, I think, look, we've made a lot of progress, obviously, on education reform and the LEARNS Act, which we've well documented here on this show and elsewhere. Yes. We made a lot of progress on solving our parole crisis and getting our crime crisis under control. We've had 3 rounds of income tax cuts in 18 months, which are accelerating the growth of our economy. Mm-hmm. But there really is one thing I think that we've just completely overlooked in a lot of ways, and that's welfare reform. And we have a new opportunity, to your point, with a supermajority legislature, a conservative governor, and a conservative president coming back into the White House in President Trump, who made welfare priority a priority in his first term. And this is the first time since Grover Cleveland in the 1800s that we're going to have a president who was in office before, left for 4 years, and then is coming back. So we've got a really good idea. I mean, look, I had no idea what to expect in the first 4 years of Trump.
Right.
I was surprised every time he did something good, to be honest, just because my expectations were really low. Mm-hmm. But he surprised a lot of people, and welfare reform was a big priority. And that means Medicaid reform. It means food stamp reform. It means housing and disability reform, potentially even on the table. And a lot of these programs have just been on autopilot. And when you look at Medicaid in particular, it is crushing our state budget, and we've got to do something to get it under control. That's all back on the table now after the election, and I'm really, really hopeful that when the legislature convenes in January, it's going to be a top priority.
Yeah, no, I think it's really become, I mean, not just here in Arkansas, but for the nation. I mean, it's really become a crutch that really is holding us back at this point as far as a lot of the different welfare programs. And so getting some reform here in Arkansas would be great, and hopefully creates a blueprint for a lot of the rest of the country to look at as well. Go ahead, Nic.
Yeah. Well, I think just to follow up on that, I mean, I think when people think about Medicaid in particular, they think about low-income Arkansans, they think about individuals with severe disabilities, they think about folks in nursing homes. But I've been telling people, and I mean, this is demonstrably true from all the research and work that I've done. I've worked on Medicaid reform in more than a dozen states and at the federal level during the first Trump administration. Mm-hmm. This is not your grandmother's Medicaid program.
No.
Literally. This is a program that has been radically transformed through Obamacare. And unfortunately, Arkansas made the decision about 10 years ago now, a little bit over 10 years ago, to say we're going to opt into the Medicaid expansion. And what that did in practical terms is it fundamentally changed the Medicaid program. No longer did you have to have a disability or be elderly or be extremely poor or be a pregnant woman or low-income child. All you have to do to qualify for Medicaid in Arkansas today is quit your job and stay poor. Yeah. That's it. And if you walk into a DHS office, I could quit my job today, and I could go walk into a DHS office and sign up for Medicaid. I would get Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance, by the way, because of the crazy way that we designed our expansion program, mm-hmm. which is better insurance than I currently have.
Right.
And I would pay nothing for it, and I could stay on it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
No time limit, no work requirement, no restraints of any kind. I think when the people of Arkansas finally start to understand how radically flawed that whole model is, we are going to see massive reform of this program.
Yeah, no, it's definitely needed. I mean, this is a big draw on our tax dollars that could be going towards other things. I saw the Arkansas Democrats in our state Congress. They laid out some of their plans this week for the upcoming sessions and plan to go after some items in public education, the LEARNS Act, and then also some things in maternal health as well. Did anything surprise you with their agenda that they kind of rolled out that they want to work on for the next session?
No big surprises. I think honestly the most upsetting part of what I saw from their remarks was how much overlap there is between some of the things that they want to do and what some of these moderate, squishy Republicans want to do when it comes to the quote maternal health crisis and just continuing to expand Medicaid and throw more and more money into a broken program because politicians want to say they did something but don't actually want to get down to the root causes and actually solve what's driving these problems. So that was really the most probably jarring part to me, was listening to some of the remarks and seeing some of what came out of that press conference and thinking, gosh, there's not a lot of margin here between where the House Democrats are saying they're at and where some of these more squishy moderate Republicans are at. But look, I mean, we've already covered it, and I think we'll continue to cover it for months and months and months ahead. These programs don't work. And at the end of the day, we are spending record amounts on Medicaid. We've had 1.1 this time 2 years ago, we had 1.1 million people on Medicaid.
Wow.
We've got a Medicaid expansion program that 4 years ago, DHS, under the previous administration, came to the legislature and said, hey, we're going to remodel all this and we're going to reform it, and we're going to make it really focused on the most needy, and we're going to create these maternal health homes and teach Arkansans how to become moms. Kind of creepy, if you ask me. Like government's going to step in and do all of that. But look at where we are today, 4 years later, and what's the number one thing that the hospitals and the healthcare special interests and everyone else are constantly, I mean, once or twice a week, it's a big headline about this maternal health stat or this maternal health thing, this crisis, that crisis, all related to maternal health. We've been trying this for decades.
Yeah.
We've been trying for decades to say, well, we'll just throw more money at it. We'll just put more people on Medicaid. Well, you know what the problem is, Toby? I mean, we spend $10 billion a year on Medicaid in the state of Arkansas.
It's insane.
$10 billion. And the problem, we're told, is, well, we're just not spending enough. We need more coverages. We need more benefits. We need people to be able to stay on it longer. You know, even though we're 49th in all these health outcome metrics, the real problem is just we're just not spending enough money.
Yeah.
And if we spent more, maybe if we spent $20 billion, we could go up to 48th or 47th. Maybe if we spent $100 billion, maybe if we put everyone on the state in Arkansas on Medicaid, we could finally solve this problem. I mean, look, I'm not trying to trivialize this issue. This is important stuff.
It's a big
deal. But we've tried this, and it's foolish, and frankly, it's insulting to the people of Arkansas to say, well, we'll fix it now with more of what we've been doing. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, no, it'll be a very interesting session when we get to it in January, and of course we'll have Nic on the radio with us going through that entire session, and of course we'll have full breakdowns of everything that gets worked on starting in January with our state Congress. But Nic, I'm going to be gone next week, so I've got to wish you a happy Thanksgiving today, and though I believe we might have you scheduled later on this week as well, but did want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. You have a favorite? I saw that I was looking at your Twitter, and I saw that your favorite Thanksgiving movie is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Do you have is there a favorite food that you have to have at Thanksgiving?
Oh man, that's such a tough one. That may be the toughest question you've ever asked me, Toby.
Possibly.
I don't know. You know, the answer is all of it. I mean, really, and my wife will attest to this. It's you got to have the turkey and the mashed potatoes and all that, but I've also got to have the green bean casserole and the corn casserole. And, you know, we've got some things that we do that are kind of specific to our family. I don't know if those are universal Thanksgiving foods for everyone, but they're things that we do. And you know, we're eating leftovers for 3 or 4 days.
Oh, standard.
But if we're running, if we're running out of something like green bean casserole's gone, like we're going to the grocery store,
Yep.
we're making another batch of green bean casserole because I got to have all of it together. I can't just go, just the turkey and the mashed potatoes. I got to have the whole spread for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
It's my favorite holiday. I love it. I'm so excited this time of year.
I agree with you that you got to be able to eat leftovers for several days after the event, and if I go somewhere for Thanksgiving, which I'm doing this year, I guarantee you when I get back, I make another Thanksgiving dinner so that I have the leftovers in my house for a few days.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
good for you.
Standard operation for the holiday. So, all right,
I love it. It's such a uniquely American holiday, but also has this really strong just spiritual aspect. And for me, someone who goes pretty hard, pretty much 24-hour, 24/7, 365. I love that it just forces me to just slow down, stop, and truly reflect on everything the Lord has done for us and how grateful, and fortunate we are to live in this country. And then, the food is the icing on top. But I think it's the best holiday. I said that to someone the other day. It's Christmas. You don't think Jesus' birth is the best holiday? And I'm like, well, I mean, I love Christmas.
Yeah.
Like no disrespect to Christmas, but I just think Thanksgiving is such a special time, and it's not about the gifts. It's not about all these other things. It's just about reflecting and stopping and resting and being with family.
It's about food, family, really and excited. Football. My 3 favorite F's.
The football, yep, that's it. How do you beat that? You can't beat that.
No, it's a wonderful thing. So, well, Nick, we'll, in fact, I believe where James was just telling me, we'll catch up with you again before the week is out, but appreciate you stopping by. Of course, you can find all of Nick's work at opportunityarkansas.org is the website to go to, and Nick, we'll catch you back up later on this week.
Sounds great. Happy Thanksgiving.